What's up, everybody? And recently, I've been getting asked more about Liberator loadouts and questions about, what weapons to use, what general loadouts you should be using. And I figured instead of covering, all possible Liberator loadouts and all the different certification options and things, I just want to cover one topic at a time. So then people can look for just a certain topic they need in the future, and then that way, if you want to know about nose guns, you can go there. If you need to know about belly guns in particular, you can go there, or tail guns, or maybe later on I'll do like the certification loadouts, like should you use nanites afterburners with airframe and such. And so today I wanted to cover Liberator nose guns. And the short answer for this loadout topic is use the tank buster. It's the best option in terms of damage, and also it gives you the best farming capability in terms of armor farm, air farm, and so it's going to be the best option. But I still want to go over all the options and explain why you don't want to choose the other ones, or why certain options won't make sense compared to others. So let's start out with the spur. The spur is sort of like a gimmick gun. Quite honestly, it doesn't do enough damage to make it viable. So the main trait of this gun is that while you're aiming, you can freely move the gun's aiming cursor while you're faced in a certain direction. And you might think in your head, oh, that's great, like, oh, you can aim even a wider range while yawing and moving and pitching up and down, so you can shoot a wider angle range. But the damage output is just not there. If you're ever close range with the spur and you're nose gunning, why are you nose gunning to begin with if your damage output isn't that great? The tank buster has so much better armor piercing capabilities and damage output up close that why would you use the spur? And also the Vector has so much more damage output at range and mid-range that, again, why would you use the spur? And the muzzle velocity isn't like crazy higher than the Vector, so again, why would you use it? And also the cost. It's not like it's a stock weapon, it's not like it's free or anything, so you have to pay either certs or daybreak cash for it, and it just doesn't make sense. As a troll weapon, it's fine. If you want to have fun with your friends, it's fine. Or you possibly want to piss off one of the Sky Knights, I guess. I guess it might be a good option for that, but as a long-term, day-to-day viable weapon, it's just not good enough. Now, let's go to option number 2, and that's the Vector. The Vector is the stock weapon for the Liberator. Everybody starts out with it, and as stock, I think it's okay. Like it's not gonna blow you away. So this weapon, you have to adjust your playstyle, right? When you're using the tank buster, you want to be up close as possible, and ideally within 50 meters to max out your damage output, so you can just one clip people. But the Vector, because up close you're not going to have that insane damage output and fire rate, that when you're up close within 50 meters, unless your belly gun kind of is not that great, but the best option ideally is your belly gun. Dalton's going to do a ton of damage. The Shredder's going to do a ton of damage, especially maxed out magazine size for the Shredder. Up close within 50 meters, it just owns everything. So even the Zephyr does pretty good damage, and within 50 meters they're pretty close, so you can, even with that slow projectile velocity, you can still hit your target and do a ton of damage. So if you're going to use the Vector, use it mid-range to far range. That's where its greatness is at. I've seen people use and I believe there's even one guy on Connery NC that even is Araxiuming the Vector. So use it to mid to far range, and you either initiate from far range, and also you finish people off from mid to far range. But the thing is, it's pretty boring, right? At least I don't have fun using it, because you have to be preemptively shooting people to ward people off, or you have to be just pecking people from far away when they're on fire and just hopefully get some kills off of it. And to me, that's just not fun. I like to, get in there, and, there's an inside joke in Libin TS where it's like, I'm always like, can I dive? Can I dive? Because, I have fun just going in and YOLO sometimes, even if people hate it. So yeah, so Vector is not bad. It's not terrible as a stock weapon option. You could do a lot worse. You could have a spur instead. So if you're gonna use it, I wouldn't throw any certs into it. I would just save your certs for the Tank Buster. And speaking of the Tank Buster, let's move on to that. So the Tank Buster is an extremely high damage weapon. It's definitely worth the certs. Honestly, depending on how good your lib crew is, and like for example, when I start an alt character, I always try and get level 1 Afterburner and Tank Buster as soon as possible, because that immediately increases my score per minute and my killing ability in the air. So Tank Buster is really great because of a bunch of options. Number one, it's a killer close range. Once you get magazine size level 3 for your Tank Buster, so at point blank range you can one clip libs, you can one clip lightnings and MPTs as long as you're getting butt shots and getting crit hits, so you can one clip armor. So all of this, and even if you miss some shots, they're going to be set on fire and their movement is inhibited, and then your belly gun and tail gun can just finish them off. So in the end, once you get that magazine size, your farming efficiency just goes up so much that it pays for itself in spades in the long run. And as long as you use it efficiently and you move correctly and take advantage of that max damage within 50 meters as much as you can, especially the projectile velocity is pretty slow, so but once you learn how to aim it, it pays off. Just trust me on that. It's a close range weapon. The damage drop off is extremely high, so I mean, once you get I think past, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm sure if you pass anywhere from 75 to 100 meters, the damage starts getting pretty drastically lower. If you do use it from range, use it to set people on fire, set enemy libs on fire, or to finish them off. In ESF encounters, you don't really want to use it from range, of course, because your damage drop off is so insane that you're better off just letting your Dalton lob for the one hit kill, or your shredder just peck at him, because it's a lot easier to hit your shredder from far range than your Tank Buster. So in the end, Tank Buster is the winner. Before the price changes, the Tank Buster used to be only 100 certs, but now it's 875, which is a huge percentage increase in price. But in the end, it's so good that it's worth it. It's going to pay for itself. As long as you're libbing well and libbing consistently, you can't go wrong with Tank Buster. In terms of loadout for the Tank Buster in particular, I personally believe that thermals is the best option, and just get to your level 3 magazine size. When you have more certs, when the other parts of your lib are maxed out, then you could get the max magazine size for Tank Buster, but it's not mandatory. Having those extra 2 shots is nice, but especially if you're starting out, don't worry about it. Just get to the magical level 3 and you're good to go. And I think that does it. I really hope this helps out, and please look out for the next tips videos. I'll be doing belly guns and tail guns next, so I'll see you guys in the next one.